Hi everybody, I'm Allison Jensen and I'm the owner of Orange Easel School of Art. We had a really fun project that we did on a Saturday morning here and it sold out. And I thought, well, it'd be fun to make a video really quick to show you how we made these sweet little Christmas tree ornaments in our workshop, and that way you could make them at home if you weren't able to make it down to the studio. So let me show you what you're going to need. We'll just dive right into it. It shouldn't take too long here. You're going to need the base of these trees is actually a polymer clay. So you can get it at the craft store, and we've got a bunch of it. Of course, it's all been mushed up and smashed. But when you see it at the store, it's going to come in a block like this. We, of course, have white. I just don't have any white that's still in the wrapping. But you're looking for a white. This is the Sculpty brand. And you're looking for an oven-baked clay. And when you go, there's going to be some that are actually modeling clay that it says, do not bake. Don't buy those. Buy the oven-baked clay because you want it to be hard like this after we bake it. Okay? So you'll buy it in white, and it's really hard. It doesn't dry out, not like regular clay or like Play-Doh does. It's not going to dry out on you, but it's really it's hard to work with until you do some conditioning on it. So you're going to take a small chunk off. If you're only making one ornament, you just need just a real little bit. You can buy it in teeny little blocks as well. You don't have to buy the ginormous one. But you'll buy a little bit of it. Just work it within your hands to get it kind of warmed up and conditioned. The next thing you're going to need is some sort of rolling pin. We usually have these pieces of PVC pipe laying around the studio, and that's what we use as our rolling pins. But you can use a kitchen rolling pin as well. And you roll it out just like you're making cookies. So you're looking for a thickness that's about a quarter of an inch, somewhere between a quarter of an inch and an eighth of an inch thick. So that way it's, a pretty sturdy little tree for you. And then you'll need a cookie cutter, so a Christmas tree cookie cutter, and you'll cut that out. I recommend rolling it out on a piece of parchment paper or piece of wax paper or even a piece of aluminum foil or even just a regular piece of typing paper. So that way it's really easy to get off your table, because when you press this thing down into the table, sometimes it kind of sticks. It's hard to pick up your tree without ruining all your edges. So this way you could actually just pick up whatever it's on and peel the back off when you go to bake it. All right. So after you've got your tree cut out, the next step that you're going to need, it's going to look something like this. You're going to need an artist. So whoever you're making your tree with, your little artist, and they're going to put their finger, boop, 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 and they're going to have to press pretty hard down into their tree to make all the little divots for your ornaments or your lights, whatever you're making. Okay? And they have to press pretty hard to leave a mark, but we're going to paint them so it doesn't have to be too deep. Okay? And then you're going to need something to poke a hole, which we just used a wooden skewer. You get kind of a shish kebab that you would use for grilling, and you're going to make yourself a hole. It's not going to shrink or anything, so you don't have to worry about making it bigger than you think. After it bakes, it'll still be the same size. So you'll need that. And then we put the date on ours, as you can see at the bottom, right? Like that. We did it before we baked it, and we used just a stamp. So the cool thing about this polymer clay is if you use, this is a gold stamp pad and a stamping set that has a set of numbers on it. So if you happen to have that and you want to use it, if you don't, that's okay. You can use a Sharpie marker when you're done and write it on there. So you can write the date on it when you're done at the end. And you can leave that off and just write it on the back as well. So when you're done with this, right here, and it needs to go in the oven, you're going to follow the instructions that comes on the clay, and it tells you how to bake it. And we just throw it in the toaster oven, and it only takes a few minutes to do that. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to have to paint it. So you got to get your little artist, and you're going to have to grab some paint. We use just an inexpensive acrylic craft paint in assorted colors. It's only going to take a drop of this stuff. Now remember, it's not washable, so watch your artist closely. But you're going to take a drop of that paint, and you're going to dip your finger into the paint, or your artist's finger into the paint, and then very carefully place it into one of the divots, and then lift up, and then wipe the finger off. Another color, place it in one of your little thumb holes or finger holes, and wipe it off. So it's a really easy painting project, even if you have a little 2-year-old and you're helping them guide their finger into each of the little finger holes that they made. And then you let it dry, and you can add any details you want. So in this one, of course, we drew the strings of lights. We also wrote name and date on the back, And then the very last thing that we did to finish our ornaments is just a real quick coat of the clear protected spray paint, a high gloss, which is totally, it's up to you. You can leave it off if you don't have it, but it kind of adds a little bit of a shine and a finish to our ornament. And then a ribbon, that's all you need.